If you're a property investor and you want to take your portfolio to the next level, go down below in the link and you can download Lendlord. You get 3 months free of premium access to their app. All right, guys, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Homefront Podcast. This is episode 27. I'm joined with my lovely co-host and new real estate partner,
Woohoo.
Brooke
Woo-hoo.
Hicks. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. We haven't started anything. We just keep talking.
We just keep talking about it. We're going to start.
How great it's going to be.
Yeah, and we're going to start sponsoring our own podcast like narcissists.
No, we're excited.
Oh, my God. Anyways, lots to talk about today, as usual.
Always.
Everyone always asks me, is there ever just like a week where there's nothing to talk about?
No.
Especially not right now.
No.
There's always
It's always
something to talk
changing.
about. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Interesting.
Well,
Crazy.
we incorporate a lot of politics and
Yeah, it's more than
economy
just real
stuff.
estate. Yeah.
yeah.
Immigration, politics,
Yeah, no, if we just talked
economy.
about real estate, it would be pretty boring because the market is like straight up. It is pretty dead out there. It's
So boring.
It's boring.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to find like other things to do at the same time. Like I still have my listings and my clients and stuff, but it's not like the like buyer go see a listing because it's gonna sell right
Yeah.
away. Like you have more time, and I
Yeah.
think buyers understand that. So it's
funny,
not
buyers
as
are like that.
fast-paced.
Yeah, buyers are like that right now too, right? They're just
Yeah.
like, let's just, can we see it on Saturday? And it's like
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like a lot more slow paced. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
things.
one
And I
woman-
don't know if I do well with slow pace. I'm a fast paced person.
You are a
sometimes.
fast paced person.
I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
No, it is a slow market out there, especially if you're a seller. So sellers, if you're listening, it does take a lot more effort put into your house before you hit market. You don't just go to market with the typical, photos put on market. Like
Yeah.
put in that extra work, 'cause it'll take you
sure.
take you further.
100%. Imagine it's a house that you want to go see.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
Like,
Picture,
make
make
that
your
one.
house, like we're going to stage it, but
Yeah.
you got to do some legwork. Like you got to clean it. Like
Totally.
make the house something that if you walked into it, you'd want to buy it yourself.
Yeah, because buyers aren't incentivized like they were before to buy. It's like I don't necessarily really want to buy and pay so much higher than what I could rent for. Like people are okay renting right
100%.
now.
And we're going to talk about that in the pod today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, first topic. This one's good.
Okay.
Does cheap credit fuel real estate markets?
Ooh, that is a good topic.
Yeah, it's
wow.
really good. So we're comparing home prices in Canada from August 2020 to August 2023, and the increase is quite astonishing. The national average home price in as of August 2023 was $750,100. So it was a negligible, it's a hard word to say, $2,900 increase from a year ago. But it's $179,100 jump from the summer of 2022. Sorry, 2020, not 2020.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
what?
So from 2020, so the low of COVID,
Yeah.
rates started going to zero.
Yeah.
Because remember when COVID first hit,
Yeah.
it wasn't craziness. Like everyone's like, oh, the craziness of COVID. But when it first hit,
No, when COVID
it was
first
slow.
hit,
Even when they dropped rates right away, it
Yeah.
was still slow.
Yeah, because people, again, economic uncertainty is the driving force to keeping buyers on the sideline, not necessarily rates, prices. It's, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to chill and wait to see what the masses do.
Yeah, 100%.
So nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah. So let me just rephrase that again. So since August of 2020 to August of 2023, real estate prices have jumped $179,000, and that's the national average price of a home. The most significant growth has been seen in the GTA. In August 2020, the average home in the GTA was $860,700. In August of 2023, it was just over 1.1 million, a $280,000 increase in the GTA, which is absolutely crazy. And then, our other market, which is Vancouver,
Yeah.
the other crazy one.
Yeah.
The average home price in August of 2023 was just over 1.2 million, and it's a 261,000 increase since August of 2020. And surprisingly, in the Barrie district, prices have risen from 571,000 to over $800,000 over the last 3 years. So Barrie has seen crazy growth. So from the depths of the COVID pandemic, where rates were near zero, it's dangerous to see how fast prices have moved in just 3 years. Unfortunately, people buy monthly payments, and when those payments rise, it can be a dangerous recipe for many. I still think we're in the early innings of many homeowners holding on for dear life.
I think a lot of people are holding on for dear life.
So do I.
Because you don't want to sell in the low. I tell people don't sell now when
Keep
when you're at
hanging
the
on.
bottom. Yeah, like keep hanging on.
The jobs report showed that a lot of people are actually getting second jobs.
Yeah.
That's what it showed. Like
Mhm.
people are hustling part-time, and you know, I
Side
it's not just
jobs.
people who only have variable rate mortgages. I'm not going to pretend to be naive to say that.
Yeah.
Because everything is expensive. Like groceries are up, rent's crazy.
Yeah.
So just people are just hustling just to stay above water.
If rates go back down again, which I don't think they'll ever go back down to where they were, and we saw why, like after they did it, it's like, hey, even if another pandemic happens, I don't think doing that served anybody any good.
No.
I don't think they'll go that low again. But when they do come down, and if they come down a significant amount in 4 or 5 years, whatever, are the house prices going to go up that quickly again? And then if that keeps happening, think about decades down the road. Is our house prices just going to become a commodity that some people own and then some people just never will or can't even aspire to? Because if it follows that trend, right? If you look back into the 1980s to now, there are trends that you can kind of follow where it's like massive increase, then it lulls and it decreases and trades sideways for a little while, then massive increase. And if that continues to happen and incomes aren't obviously going up at that same rate, owning a house might be a commodity in Canada that you, unless you're born into family or have something passed down, it's maybe not something that you can aspire to. Like you look at Europe, a lot of people are renters for life. They pass down their like leases to their children.
Yeah, you wonder if it's going to be the same here. Like it, you know, you look at that return in the GTA where we're from in 3 years, like that's an incredible return and a dangerous return. And like when I say like cheap credit fuels markets, it's just so true because people are buying payments. Like they're almost not even looking at the purchase price. It's like if Costco is selling hotcakes and you know, they're like, well, you can buy 100 of them and you can pay it off in X amount of time at $2 a month versus $3 a month. You know, people hop all over it, right? 100%. You're looking at the payment.
You're looking at the payment, not the purchase price. Because now I was showing a townhouse today in Oakville listed at $799. Peak times it would have been 1.1 easy, right?
Are they holding offers?
No. Oh. That's the crazy thing. And if you look at the mortgage rate on $799 right now versus let's say 1.92% at 1.1, your payment's higher at $799K.
Yeah.
So it becomes, that's cash flow negative, but you would have bought at 1.1 no problem. But really,
you're
the difference of payment is
$1,000,
but $300,000 of savings. So it's crazy what's stopping people. It's like if you look at where this townhouse should go back to over time, like don't expect it to do that right away. That's a lot of equity that you can hope to have, that knowing neighbors on the same street have locked in at 1.1 as their purchase price.
Yeah. I guess that's the calculation that you have to do as an investor, that I would do if I was looking to buy an investment property, would be, where do I think rates are going? And I know it's just a crystal ball, but say you think they're going back to 4 in the 4s, but you're going to buy something for $300K less. Now, then you kind of run the numbers and pencil them and see if they make sense in the future. And if you do believe that Canadian real estate's going to go up long term, that's something you can look at too.
Right.
Yeah.
Because so why would anybody ever buy a house unless they think that it's going to appreciate, right? So I am under the impression like right now I want to rent, and that's only because I don't see, if I buy something right now, I don't see that same house going up significantly until next year. I think it's going to be very similar price today and this day next year. That's just my opinion. So that extra payment monthly of $4,000 extra in a mortgage payment versus what I pay in rent, and it didn't go up at all. There's no point in owning. Yes, you're paying down some equity, but it doesn't really make sense. And so when things 100%. Don't make sense, why buy something if it's not going to go up? Why not just choose the cheaper option if you're just looking at it on a cash flow month to month basis?
And I'm of the opinion of it's probably going to go down more before it goes up right now, just based off what we're seeing. Supply is low, and that's the only thing saving us right now.
Supply.
But we're seeing delinquencies go up, and we are seeing new listings outpace sales. So it's just something to think about, right? Like if you're buying a home for your family right now, 100%, if you find that beautiful one that you love and you can afford the payment,
Yeah.
And then you know what? You can bargain with the seller. Like if it's at 800, maybe you can get that thing for 725. Maybe you can get it for 750. See if your realtor can look back and see what they bought it for.
Yeah.
What's their motivation? Get your realtor to ask these questions. Hey, you can even go on House Sigma yourself, a free app, and you can look if your realtor won't do it for you, but if he's a good enough or she's a good enough realtor,
House
they should be
actually a very good app.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a great app.
It is,
and it's great for consumer confidence as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing that we can hide.
No.
Which you shouldn't be hiding anything anyways, but unfortunately.
It actually predicts the value of your house. If you download House Sigma, create a free account, and you type in your address, unless you've done upgrades that haven't been, like if your house hasn't been on MLS since you've done those upgrades, it'll give you an estimation of value based on your square footage, your location, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, basement, that kind of thing, and it'll give you an estimation of value. And sometimes it's off. I mean, it's
obviously it's AI. Yeah, it's an app.
But usually it's pretty close.
Is
sometimes.
It? I've actually never used it.
But like I don't use House Sigma to value a property.
No.
But I'll do my CMA and then I'll go on House Sigma. I'm like, it's actually not far off from what I came up with my actual concrete research.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's way off.
Yeah. It's going to be.
Yeah, and then they don't take into account like the new, renovations, updated kitchen, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But it's cool to look at sometimes.
That is cool. Love it. All right. Topic number 2. You want to pick up your phone for this one?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Our shared notes. We're even sharing notes now.
I have to beg you to look at.
Even you updated at like 5 a.m. Like 5 a.m. Cortez updated the podcast notes.
I need help. I know.
Okay. Topic 2. Where are rates in Canada? Where are rates now in Canada? This is a good one.
It didn't update.
Did we talk about this?
Yes, we did. We're at sellers return to Canadian real estate market.
Where are rates now in Canada?
Maybe I have to
talk about this last week.
Maybe I have to reshare this with you.
I'm like, that's a good topic. We talked about it last week.
Because I had to.
Okay. It didn't sound like what we talked about last week, but yes, it didn't update for me. So
okay, let me take on this one, and then I'll pass you my phone for the third one.
We're going to give the floor back to Cortez.
Okay, sellers return to Canada's real estate market, but buyers aren't biting. So there's been a resurgence of sellers in Canada's major real estate markets, but buyers aren't biting. Soaring interest rates are simultaneously forcing homeowners to sell. New listings rose across the country in September, including 11% increase in Toronto alone. In several cities, including Toronto and Vancouver, conditions have swung in the favor of buyers and prices have started to edge down. Sales aren't keeping up with new listings, turning many markets into buyer market territory. And many would-be buyers are taking their time, trying to pick up good deals as more inventory continues to hit the market. High interest rates, ongoing affordability issues, and a looming recession are poised for a major obstacle. Any material acceleration in the market recovery will have to wait until interest rates come down in 2024. I believe this was from BMO too. So I think that, again, it feels like everyone's, like a lot of economists that I'm watching right now are saying that the US is going to have a soft landing and Canada is going to have a hard landing. And that's because we're so dependent on real estate and our GDP is so dependent on real estate that we're going to feel more pain than the States is going to feel because they're more, I hate to say it, economically advanced. They invest more in other things other than housing.
Yeah.
So we're most likely going to feel this a lot more than the States. So unless interest rates are going to come down in Canada, which the bond yield keeps on surging anyway, I feel like we're kind of in this limbo state of buyers and sellers, like who's going to budge first.
Yeah. And there's going to be those sellers that, have to sell, like have to, and just cut their losses. Because when you buy something, and if you have 20% down, let's say you buy it for $800K, you have 160 into it. Okay. So your mortgage, what is that? 640, right? So 640K, let's say now that $800,000 house is now come down to even 700, even 675. If you sell for 675, you get to pay off your mortgage. You just lose that initial down payment you may have put down 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So you've lost old money, you've lost your equity, you're not losing out of pocket. So a lot of people won't have to pay out of pocket. If you can't continue to afford your monthly payment and you have to sell, you're losing your old down payment.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. People are like, I'm cutting my losses. I just have to basically start over, which isn't as bad as having to claim bankruptcy or like having to owe 160. Like you bought for 800, you sell for 675. It's like you have to cough up 125 to cover the sale price. You have your down payment in it. So people are just cutting like their down payment. I lost half my down payment or whatever the case may be. It's
especially in the pre-construction world too. You're even seeing like advertisements from, you know, their realtor being like, you know, my client is walking away from $170K deposit. Like, you know, take this place. Yeah. And I'm even like looking at these deals and the numbers still don't make sense for what you can buy resale today. That's how much people overpaid for pre-construction. Pre-construction is just, it has its time and it has its place, but it's just such a marketing gimmick too. Like I was explaining this to someone like in the building I bought in, they called it trend, right?
Yeah.
Trend living. And like, that's how they sell you this, like this sexy floor plan, this sexy like hallway. And like, yeah, like I went to my building and I'm like, it looks good, but it's not like what the renderings look like. Like they really do sell you and they have an amazing marketing scheme that should almost be regulated a bit more because it really brings people in. Yeah. Just thinking like, wow, like look at where I'm going to live and trend it really is a lot of marketing dollars.
Yeah. I mean, I like pre-construction for the person that doesn't necessarily like, you know, maybe they're at school or something and they want to have something to go to and they like the area and like, you know, more of like I'm going to live there when I'm done traveling or whatever the case may be. Because you don't have to carry a mortgage. It's just the deposit. A lot of people are doing the 5% per year. That's hugely affordable. And if it's in a location, I bought pre-construction a couple of years ago. I absolutely love my unit because of the location.
Yeah.
Like, I would buy this again today because of how much I like the unit. Yes, it's way too small. I don't actually want to live there.
But you made a couple bucks on it, right?
Yeah. Well, I was also smart about that purchase.
Did your homework?
Did my homework. I had sold a few of them before I actually bought one. It was a project I was selling and I was like, I believed in it so much that I bought one. Like,
that's
okay,
good.
There you go. And now my clients are like, okay, like we believe you now.
Yeah, she bought one. Yeah.
But no, I'm super happy with that one. And it's because of the location. It wasn't even necessarily the price. Like I'm right near the water downtown Burlington. You can't really buy there that new right now.
Yeah.
So, pre-construction's good for some people. It has to do with your situation. 5% per year for 3 years in a location that you love. You have some things to do from now till then. Like could be an awesome play. You have a brand new condo to go to. Hopefully rates will be lower then. You know, you hope to make a little bit of a return on your deposit money, but usually your deposit money is it's 5% a year. Buy a condo for $500K. Call it 50 grand. Even if it goes up 50 grand, it's 100% return on your money.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
You're only in it for your deposit money. So your return, you have to calculate on your deposit money, not on the purchase price.
Yeah. Just don't plan to assign it. I think that's like the best. I think that's the best advice right now is just like, don't buy something because you think you can assign it. Because unfortunately, past performance is no guarantee of future results. It just isn't. Like people used to do it all the time and used to make $300K. It's probably never going to happen, at least for a long, long time. So
if Canada real estate keeps going in the direction that it has, like, yes, it's slowed down right now. It's just, again, I guess I can't say Canada real estate because there's a lot.
Yeah, there's different pockets. Yeah, no, it's so hard because like we're in one of the craziest pockets of Canada. But yeah, markets are very micro, like they're very location sensitive. So it's hard when we even have stats because it's like, you know, it's not all like this. Even, you know, the average price is $750K. I think if you take out Vancouver and Toronto, it goes to like 600 or high fives or something like that. So it is a lot different. But yeah, even micro markets like Barrie, like look how much Barrie went up. Yeah. It's crazy.
But if you look at the States, there's just so much more houses and people say, oh, the States are so affordable. Well, look at New York, LA, crazy astronomical prices. You can't live there. No way. And they'd be in the same price. They just have way more like density in way more areas where there's bigger cities where you can live in, where if you want that much density in like transit and everything, you got to go to these major cities where it's unaffordable.
Yeah.
Whereas they just have so much more housing.
Yeah, that's fair. Like going into what we just said here, TREB numbers are mind blowing. So this realtor put this out, Todd Foley, Said Treb sales in September 2023 were 4,600. So it's 4,600 sales in 2023. They haven't been this low since 1996 when there was 4,100 transactions done. So in 2023, there was 4,600. In 1996, there was 4,100. So this is Toronto Real Estate Board, by the way. So the population in the GTA in 1996 was 4.2 million. The population in the GTA in 2023 was over 6.3 million. So you're adding about 2 million people in the GTA since then. Now consider the amount of units built in the last 27 years.
Does this include leases too?
I actually don't know. It's sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if the leases is just like skyrocketing
Through the roof. Yeah.
Because like if there's that many people, transactions need to happen. The thing is, landlords, you don't need. Okay, I'm not going to say you don't need an agent. You should use an agent for proper screening unless you have a background in being able to really look into a tenant profile. But landlords can post it on Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace, and you're doing it yourself. You can avoid commission,
you can do this shit.
but that gets people in trouble. That gets landlords in trouble.
Yeah,
like
unless they've done it before, but fake.
I see fake
stuff.
I see fake documents all the time. So your brokerage can pull your credit report. When you see an Equifax report, don't always trust it.
Yeah.
There's a tip for you. It's like freaking AI can make a good
documents.
Yeah. So,
I took less on my rental property because I knew the people who were living in there.
Yeah.
I did it all day long. Yeah.
Especially there's a lot of sellers renting right now and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to sell right now. I'm going to rent for a year and then sell." And I'm like, "You better be damn careful who you rent out to, because in a year, nobody wants to move into a place and move out in a year if you're a tenant. Maybe some that want to buy eventually, but to move out 12 months later for when you want to sell, you got to like almost upfront say that, because if a tenant's there, you need a reason to kick them out. You need a reason. You can't just be like, "Hey, your lease is done after 12 months." No. If you plan to sell in a year and you want to rent it so that you're not holding it empty because it won't sell right now, be freaking careful, because selling in a year is not just going to be that easy. It'd be like, "Hey, okay,
no, it's not.
Go. The market's good."
Yeah. Like further to this point too. So there was 4,600 transactions on Treb in 2023. There's over 70,000 realtors with 4,600 sales. And you probably have multiple realtors doing more than one deal. So you can just see how saturated it is. And then you have to think about the trickle down effect, right? You have to think about real estate agents not getting commissions, which I know, boohoo, who cares? And then mortgage agents, lawyers, construction workers, landscapers, painters, even the revenue for the city, all that is down. And all that has a trickle effect within the economy. Because if landscapers aren't working as much, construction workers aren't working as much, lawyers aren't getting as paid as much, less people are out there spending money. And especially if the city isn't getting their tax dollars that they love, like even Toronto is considering a municipal tax. Well, wake up. Why do you think that is? Is because they're not getting as much revenue as they were from land transfer tax.
True. Last year alone, wasn't it?
It was like $1 billion or something. Yeah. So like now we're down. Our transactions are the same when there was 2 million less people and 27 years ago. It's less money in a lot of people's pocket. So people just digging their heels into the ground. Just an interesting stat, right? Like in 27 years, we have the same amount of sales. We have 2 million. So our population in GTA has grown by 50%. And the amount of units that have been built. Yeah. It's pretty wild to see like how many people, when economic uncertainty happens, how many people just hit the brakes.
Yeah, economic.
Let's just weather this storm too.
Stay on the sidelines.
I was actually listening to this economist talk too, and he was saying, just like, hey, if your employer wants you back at work, you should probably consider going back in more, right? As we kind of go into maybe a recession, and not to create doom and gloom here, but you should maybe think about, hey, maybe I should go back into work, show face, keep my job more than the other person who's sitting at home and refuses to come in, just in case.
We're technically in a recession. Nobody freaking talks about it. Everyone talks about the upcoming recession. No, we are in a recession. Yeah. Okay, they won't announce it as a recession because the negative GDP is too minor to say, oh, we're in a full-blown recession, because it's like very small negatives, but 2 consecutive negative quarters in a row is a recession. We've had that. We are in a recession. Nobody will announce it. I'll announce it.
Yeah. Brooke Hicks, you heard it here first.
We're in a recession. Like, nobody will say it. And then Tiff Macklin's like, we don't want to call it a recession because they were too small negative. Too small. It's like, but it's still negative.
Yeah.
It's too small.
Well, speaking of this, my next topic. So Canada's economy looks like a recession when you adjust for population. So here's where like, hey, maybe we are in this recession, but
Are.
we're masking it with
Oh,
population
the
growth.
definition is like if you have two
Two
consecutive
negative
quarters
quarters of negative GDP.
negative GDP, which we have.
But when you look at GDP per capita, this is where it changes.
Okay.
So Canada's population continues to grow one of the fastest rates ever. Its economy is not so lucky. So BMO warns that the country's economy resembles a recession once population adjusted. So Canada's population continues to surge, 1.2 million people as July 1st. It was the largest growth on records in terms of people and tied to the fastest rate since the post-World War II boom.
Holy crap.
Yeah, which is crazy, eh?
Life's
So
like-
adjusted for population growth, Canada's real GDP is contracting at an alarming rate. In per capita terms, so per person, which is where you really want to measure GDP, Canada's real GDP is now on track to be down more than 2% year over year in Q3, a magnitude of decline typically only seen during a recession. To be blunt, the population is growing much faster than the economy. A record population boom is driving new demand, but it's barely replacing lost demand. Clearly, there are longer-term demographic benefits from robust immigration, especially if flows are concentrated in much-needed skilled workers. But the rate of flow matters given that supply of housing, healthcare services, and other necessary infrastructure can't possibly respond fast enough to the current pace.
I feel like everybody just talks about things and nothing gets done.
Isn't
I'm just
that
like wondering how things.
isn't that just like Canada in a nutshell? Like how many things have we done to slow housing and it's still gone on this rocket ship? Foreign buyer tax, vacant home tax, like all these things, nothing has changed.
It's insane.
Yeah. Well, I guess like back to what you said, are we in a recession? We're probably technically going to have to go into one by the definition of it, but also we're in a recession if we take out population growth because it really stimulates the economy because people are here spending money because you have to spend money. You have to buy food, you have to buy shelter.
Yeah.
But if you take that population growth out and you also measure it GDP per capita, so how effective a person is in the economy, then yes, we are technically in a recession.
Crazy. Do you see all the every time I turn on anything to do with Trudeau, and he's like waving and people are like swearing and going crazy.
I see that.
It is like a crazy time.
It's hatred.
There's a lot of like, what's the word? Hostility.
Mm.
And I get it. If you're being put out of your house, you can't afford food for your child. Okay. I get it. It's just like,
I think he said in an interview with the New York Times, he's like, Canadians are angry right now. And I think a lot of Canadians are angry right now.
I feel like this is going to be a time in history that like gets taught in schools because like even the
for
war,
sure.
like how much that affected the prices, like even, gas coming from Russia, like shutting that down, trickling the supply chains paired with COVID, paired with now this Israel Palestine.
Yeah.
What's
going to be the economic effect of this war?
There is so many things over the past 36 months.
Canada-India relations. Like, is India going to stop? Are people from India going to stop coming to Canada? Is that a black swan event that no one sees coming that will, hurt Canada? Is that, one of our biggest immigration boom is they're not going to come here. Hey, this is a bad relationship. This is not where we want to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Like Trudeau wants to censor
podcasts.
And now Google is even, was it a Google or something?
Yeah, Google said something. Yeah. Joe Rogan, the biggest podcast in the world, had a viral clip of them talking about censorship in Canada. It's just, we've almost become this like world stage joke. Doesn't it feel like
I don't blame the, okay. I have two opinions on the whole censorship thing because Meta is the one that's doing this. They're saying, okay, we're not giving Canada access because Trudeau wants to essentially monetize, like have them pay the news platforms, whatever the case, right? Pay them.
Yeah.
So Meta is the one that's saying, no, I'm not paying, F you. I'm just not going to give Canada access. So like Meta being like the billionaire giant that they are, like there's these news outlets that aren't being paid because it's like free on Facebook. Like people can get their news free right now on Facebook. So now these news outlets are suffering because Canadians don't need to watch the news anymore. And there's a lot of time and money put into gathering stories and presenting news. And they're hurting because Meta has news for free. So now the government's like, well, you have to pay to be able to put news on, right? Just like the news channels do.
And right? They have to push Canadian content, which Meta is like not on board for.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame them.
I don't know if I hate the idea of like Meta offering free news, competing with the news outlets that they do for a living, and then it being hurt because it's given to Canadians for free. And it's like, you have to pay to offer these stories. Okay, whatever. That's just how the world kind of works. Work it out. But Meta's like, no, F you, I'm not paying, and just kind of taking Canadians away from it. So it's Meta is the one that decided to not allow us to see what would previously we'd be able to see based on Trudeau wanting them to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I'm on two sides because it's like, you're a billionaire giant. And now it's like, it's your fault. We can't see it. I get it. It's in retaliation to not wanting to pay. But it's these news outlets that are all, you know, as a career, providing news for their Canadians when nobody is watching it because they get it for free. Does that make sense? Am I explaining?
Yeah, no, it does make sense too. Yeah. I get what you're saying. It's just at the end of the day, who's getting hurt here? It's like the consumer, like us, the taxpayer. Just like, I just want to read the news. You know, I just want to share an article.
Yeah.
So it always kind of comes back to.
Yeah, but Meta won't pay to be able to broadcast news.
Mm. Yeah, it's in this. You know, it does feel like censorship though, which sucks.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
really does. Like trying to get news. Yeah, trying to get news is like it's a hurdle.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry to end on that note.
It's crazy.
Crazy times.
It is going to be, the 2020 to 2023, the era. They're going to name it something probably.
Our children will study this in the economy, in history class.
What are they going to call it? Because there's the baby boomers, the Great Depression. They always back name it.
Yeah. The millennial getting screwed generation.
Yeah. Name it. We should come up with a name.
Inflation.
Go down in history.
The inflation era.
The inflation era.
That's the biggest buzzword of the 2020s.
Inflation.
Anyways, you got anything else?
No, that's all.
That's it. All right. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you made it this far, you are we really appreciate you. And if you're on Apple Podcast or Spotify, you can follow us on Spotify. And if you could leave a review, it obviously helps kind of push this content out to as many people as you can.
Instagram almost has 20,000 followers.
Yeah, we're almost at 20,000 followers on Instagram. We just do short clips on there. So I don't know. We're trying to figure out ways to make it more interactive. So we've been posting a lot of stories to kind of give you up-to-date news.
We have a news article.
Yeah, we do. I'll put that link in the description.
Yeah, they're quick and short. So it's like a snapshot of what's going on in the economy.
3 topics. Yeah. People like doing it. So yeah. If you want to follow us there and on TikTok, that's awesome. And DM us too.
DM us.
If you want to work with us too, with Brooke or I, we do the Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville area. We'd love to hear from you guys. You want to set up a meeting? We'll leave the email and number down below. We'd love to help you guys out on any of your real estate needs, or if you just want to have a chat about the market and what you see going forward, we'd love to help you with that. So thanks again. And until next week, we'll see you. Bye.